everybody. I hope that you all can hear me. I'm going to fix this. If you can hear me, I'm just waiting for some of you all to come in. I'm just waiting for a few more to come on in so I can get a sound check. If you're coming into the room, go ahead and give me a sound check. Give me a thumbs up. I want to see if you can hear me. So if you can hear me, go ahead and give me a sound check. I know it's a holiday, but we got a lot going on here tonight. If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up so I know if I have to adjust my volume or anything. I know it's all right. I'm getting thumbs up. Thank you, Sister Vickers. Tonight, I know it's a holiday. We got a lot going on, brothers and sisters. Tonight, we will not be showing Come On in the Room. We're going to be simulcasting. I'm going to be on with Berean TV tonight. Berean TV tonight with Elder Mike Holloway and Brother Berean. We're going to be having a dialogue on what is the new covenant. So that's going to be tonight. That is going to be at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be simulcasting that. You want to tune in to that. You want to be there for that. This is a dialogue that has been brewing up for several weeks now, if not months. We have had a dialogue with Elder Holloway before, but tonight is, I want to say, it's going down. Elder Holloway is a good brother. We just gonna have some dialogue. We got difference of opinion. But I think when I see all of this debate on in the awakening community and those that are in the Romish Christianity, the issue is when we start talking about what we have to do and what we don't have to do, the issue is that we need to get to the bottom of the line of what is the covenant. And you all know that a lot of people teaching that the new covenant is the actual books written between Matthew and Revelation. And when you ask people what is the new covenant, they're going to tell you it's the New Testament. And they don't know what the new covenant is. Some people even say that the new covenant is just believing in Christ. But tonight, we're going to break that thing down. It's going to be a few hours. I would tell you it's going to be a few hours. Yes. I know Elder Holloway says the new covenant is just love. We're going to break that down, brothers and sisters. You need to let people know. All newcomers, let them know. Those that are straddling the fence, let them know. Let them know what's happening tonight. And, you want to be there on that show. That's not something you want to miss. You want to be there. I have gotten calls from everywhere. People have just gone and looked at the channel, called the 800 number. I've gotten emails. A lot of people are anticipating this. Most of you all know I don't bring nothing to the table unless I bring a book, chapter, and verse. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be bringing book, chapter, and verse. We're not going to be jumping into a bunch of subjects. We're not going to be jumping. We're going to stay on one subject tonight. What is the new covenant? That's what we're going to stay on. I'm not letting them go into the right field, the left field, center field. We're going to stay right on home base tonight. Home base tonight. And I received some calls from some pastors, both in the Romish Christian doctrine. Good brothers, we had some good conversation. They said, listen, I hear what you're saying, and when I saw that subject, I like to get some clarity of what that new covenant is. And they told me, so listen, I may not agree with you, Pastor, but I want to understand what that new covenant is. because one of them was saying, I know it's not just believing in the Messiah. I said, nope, but they're going to be tuning in tonight. Now, that's going to be at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I know it's a holiday. Brothers and sisters, this is much needed business. This is business that has to be resolved. This is business that has to be done. We're going to be bringing out all those scriptures tonight, brother, up next. We are going to be laying down the foundation. Now, I'm not entering into this dialogue with the anticipation of convincing Elder Holloway. I'm not. This is for the audience. This is for the chat room. This is for those that will be viewing this in the weeks to come. That's who this is for. And that's why I'm going to lay the foundation with book, chapter, and verse. And again, that's tonight. Yes, we're going to burn his feet by keeping them to the fire. Yeah, I want to keep them to the subject. I think my biggest task tonight is going to be keeping them on subject. If I can hold them to stay on the subject, not go into other things. Every time I say a key word, well, wait a minute, what do you think about that? Now, if I say, if I say the word circumcision, we're not jumping into circumcision. If I say the word lake of fire, we're not jumping into the lake of fire. We're going to stay on that covenant and who that covenant is for and what is the covenant. We're going to stick with the script. We're going to stick with the subject. I have watched a lot of these people, and what they do is they never get to the root of the subject because they jump around too much. We're not going to do that. Now, I have taught in this man's society as an adjunct professor. I've taught public policy, public government, and let me say this. I know that in the classroom, people can get off into some heated discussions on issues that's not even on the chapter, the subject of the chapter. But in a university, you let those things go because it sparks interest in the class. And word gets out that you want to take that. I was not a professor. I was an adjunct professor because I don't have a doctorate degree. I have a master's degree. But a lot of people will say, oh, let's take this person's class. They have some good discussions in there. And the reason is when you have those good discussions and people are signing up for you, the university continues to make sure you get classes because that's money for them. But what we're going to do tonight, we are going to stay on subject. We're not jumping. We're not going to jump. We're going to stay, what is the new covenant? What is the new covenant? What is the history of the new covenant, of the old covenant? If we can get into what the history of the old covenant is, we're going to know what the new covenant is. And if they jump off channel or jump off chapter, that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. Thank you for your support. Those who are saying, you have my support tonight. Thank you very much. There's going to be people in the chat room. I'm sure some people are going to call him some names and people are going to call me some names. And after this dialogue tonight, I'm sure there's going to be plenty in the UA community. I don't know those in the UA community, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty that will take this video tonight and they're going to dissect it. That's why I'm staying with book, chapter, and verse. I'm not going to get into no long conversations. I'm not going to get into no long commentaries. I'm going to give book, chapter, and verse and a short synopsis of what it's saying. That's it. That's all we're going to do tonight. And we're going to let the book do the talking. We're going to let the Bible do the talking. Tonight the Bible's going to speak. The Word is going to speak. The Scripture says, let the Word of God be true and every man a liar. And certainly I'm not insinuating that what they're doing is a liar. What I'm simply saying is that we're going to be dealing with this straight on part. His favorite is to go to Hagar. Irrelevant. And I think Deborah Cotton. All of that is irrelevant. And they get into those long dissertations or, well, that's Hagar, and they use analogies that's not related. We're not going to get into that. He can get into it. I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to bring it right back. Every time they jump off, they can jump off. But you all want to see, I am going to stay on subject. I'm not getting into Hagar. I'm not getting into that son, that son. All of that has nothing to do with nothing. The law was given to Moses. There's not a law that was given to Moses, and then all of a sudden that was relevant to Hagar. And when you put Hagar away, we ain't going that way. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to let them do that. They can go that way, but I'm not entertaining that. You're my sporting dog. I said, let me see what it says. You have my support, even though I said I would no longer watch Berean TV anymore. Well, let me just say this. Shout out to Brother Berean. Brother Berean has created a platform where I think it might be neutral ground, where he as a moderator has been fair, at least fair enough. And some people say, well, not totally fair all the time. There's some times that Brother Berean may have letting things kind of go too far, but that's his channel. That's his channel. I can't tell him how to run his channel. But for the most part, it's fair enough for me to jump on and say, it's fair enough for me to say, let me go on and let me give this an opportunity. And listen to this. I like to go where the heat is. I want to go where the heat is. And there's going to be people on that channel that is going to be probably a lot of the UA Romish Christian community. But when you go there with the word, you have to go there. Listen, the prophet faced by himself all of those false prophets. That's what he did. Because one thing about the word will stand for itself. So one of the reasons they're going in there, because there's going to be some that are allies, and I would say that Brother Berean himself has done the best that he can to create a channel where at least dialogue has an opportunity to be neutral. So we're going to see. Accept the parable. Berean ain't neutral ground to me, and I'm new to this. And I agree. I can say that there has been some things that has been questionable, but he has assured me that we're going to be able to have this dialogue, and we're going to be able to have it freely. We're going to be able to show scriptures, and we're going to be able to present those scriptures. So we're going to see. We're going to really see, brothers and sisters. And the thing is, I think that if he could do things differently than what he has recently done, and I've seen some of the things that has been there. I've seen some things that have taken place. However, I don't know the extent of it. I really don't. I saw the situation with the pews. I saw the situation with with the DNA. Let me tell you something. I'm going to be straight up honest with you all. My shout out to all of those people that brings in that type of evidence. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Brother Benaiah Israel's that brings in evidence such as his hidden Hebrew segment dealing with the Spanish Inquisition, bringing in the academic information. When you bring in those type of things, you have to expect that they're going to be challenged. But let me tell you something. Brother Benaiah is one of my top favorites because Brother Benaiah Israel brings receipts that are undisputable. And he brings receipts from renowned universities from books. He didn't get them out of the library. He got these from books and universities, and they say what they say. Brother Benea didn't write it. He produces the evidence, and my hat is off to that brother for doing what he does, because he does an excellent job. Shout out to Brother Ron Dalton. Ron Dalton has done some stuff with DNA evidence that has done a very good job. Some stuff I can roll with. Some things it's a little questionable how far the DNA goes. But that's something I would share with Brother Ron. I'm not going I'm not going to debate any Hebrew that is teaching the truth about the issue. That's something I deal with them one-on-one. Or we can do that on my channel, but not in a channel like Berean channel. That channel is for what it's for. It's to do what we're going to do tonight. Brother, shout out to my brother Ron Shields, a divine prospect. He's a researcher. He's a researcher. He brings academic information. He knows how to bring academic information. He knows how to bring references and resources. He knows how to do research methodology. And I know good research methodology when I see it, because I have to read it, I have to grade it, and he does a very good job. And so those brothers do what they do. I am a book, chapter, verse man. And after all of that, when we bring this evidence tonight, they're going to have to go back and deal with the scriptures, because the scriptures are going to speak for themselves. I'm not taking nothing out of context. It's going to be what it is. Whenever you bring other information, oh no, it's all right, brother. We good. Y'all been DT. Yeah. I got your email, brother. We'll talk, because I want to get some of your music for the channel. Shout out to brother Yabin. So here's what we're going to do tonight, and I want you to understand why Brother Berean appears to have been. It appears to be unfair. Whenever you bring references to the table outside of the scriptures to substantiate your position, those references must be made available. In the story, I can't change that. That's the truth. I'm going to tell y'all, I've been watching the things on the pews and what have you. But at the same time, I wrote Brother Berean I wrote him an email, and I said, listen, Pastor Kelly's a good brother. If people have demonstrated that when they bring a reference, they bombard that reference, being an expert in the field, and it's caused rift, then I can understand why they will not produce that reference. I believe it was somebody named Katz or Richard Katz that they won't produce the information on. But if their experience has been that they brought other references and people bombarded them and it caused a problem, then I can understand why they won't produce it. However, whenever you bring something outside of the scripture as a reference, you must provide it. If it's a person, you must make it available. If you say, oh, I read in the book, you got to provide the reference for it. That is just strict research methodology, one-on-one. And I understand both sides. So I can't really say that Berean has been unfair, and I can't say that Pastor Kelly and those guys do not have a good reason for not producing that reference based upon what they say has happened when they produce people in the past. So I can understand. So how do you handle that? You tell people, listen, I can't produce it. So let me remove that from the table. Let me remove that from the table. In the court of law, in any criminal investigation, any civil investigation, they have something what they call a motion to suppress hearing. And in a motion to suppress hearing, you, at least in the state of Florida, and a lot of states have it, you must show all of your evidence to the other side. Both sides have to show, and it's called discovery. And you got to provide discovery. A lot of states have that law. You got to provide discovery. And discovery is, what do you intend to produce as evidence? And here's what I intend to produce as evidence. And it allows the other one to look at it and have an opportunity to examine it. So if you produce a witness before the trial, they get to talk to your witnesses. And they get to interview your witness. They get to subpoena them, and they get to talk to them before the trial even starts. And you get to talk to theirs, and they get to talk to you. And if you can't produce them at that hearing or at that subpoena, if you can't produce them, then they cannot be used. That's just one-on-one research methodology and what have you. Now, some people they say, I'm a good witness, but I'm scared. So what does that mean? You can never bring that witness up. You can never talk about them. You can never do anything, because then it becomes what we call hearsay evidence. So I think in the situation from what I watched, Brother Berean, I think he might have went a little bit overboard when he said it's lies. I don't know that it was lies. I think it was fear that they didn't want that person to be contacted. That's from what I understand. So I can't really say that it was a lie. I can just say that's a witness that they're not willing to bring to the table. And sometimes you have that. Sometimes you got witnesses who are afraid and they can't do it. Sometimes evidence cannot do it, and they won't use it. Somebody says, let me see what you got here. The issue with Berean arose when he called Pastor Kelly and Pastor Brown as liars. They did not hold cats. They're not withhold cats, but for him to call those men liars is this, yes, it was disingenuous. And I don't know if I would have went that far, because even in the court of law, here's what happens. If you make charge against something, and if you later cannot produce that person, then those facts and everything that derived from that, what they call it, the tree, is gone. So in a criminal case, if an officer did something and if he got evidence illegally, it's called the fruit of the poisonous tree. You can look that up. It's called fruit of the poisonous tree. Anything that derived as a result of that evidence that led you to this place, to that place, to that place, all of that has to go. And that's when they have a motion to suppress hearing. They'll say, listen, Your Honor, I think that evidence right there was that was captured illegally. For instance, if somebody gets stopped in the car and the officer just says, let me have your keys. And then he opens and he says, no, I'm going to take your keys anyway. And he pops the trunk and he finds illegal material in the trunk. And then in that illegal material, he finds names and phone numbers where that stuff is going to be delivered. And then all of a sudden, he goes and arrests all of those people, and they get somebody to take that stuff to them, and they receive it, and he arrests all them people. Well, guess what? If going into that trunk was illegal, everything that you got as a result of that has to get thrown out, because it's the fruit of the poisonous tree. So what I'm saying is, I think it was disingenuous to maybe call them a liar instead of just saying, hey, if you can't produce it, then don't talk about it. It's not a part of your repertoire. But because nobody is dealing with the true court, nobody is dealing with a true research, then therefore maybe feelings get a little bit involved and things are said. That's what I see happen. I think things were said that not have to be said. When I used to when I had papers, I had to do research papers and grade them for people. Well, let me just say this. Let me tell you my experience one day. I did a paper, and the paper was based upon a reference, and that reference was Wikipedia. And I had wrote maybe out of 10 pages, 4 pages on that one reference. Well, that was, out of the 4 pages, that's 40% of the work, okay? But the teacher came and said, Mr. Johnson, you cannot use Wikipedia as a reference. And I said, okay. And they said, you're going to get another reference. And normally, if you wrote 2 pages on it out of 10, you would get an 80. But in this case, I got to take those 4 pages away. So therefore, because that is a reference that we don't, Wikipedia is not a reference that we allow, those 4 pages got to go. So you're down to 6 pages. Now, what I recommend that you do is go back and extend those other 6 pages and make them longer, or go find another reference. I went to go find another reference. They gave me 3 hours to do it, 3 hours. And that class was at 1 o'clock. They said, if you can get it to me by 5 o'clock this afternoon, but get it to me by 4 so I can grade it. And I shot up out of there. I went to the library, did some research, put out some periodicals, and I found something that was similar to what I found on Wikipedia, and I got my A. So those things happen. So what should have happened, maybe what was handled and what was said is not the right thing to happen. But you got to understand, those are not professors. They're not researchers. They're not readers of research. Shout out to Brother Divine Prospects, because, listen, he's very good. I know, because I know research methodologies. I know qualitative research and I know quantitative research when I see it. And he does a very good job. My hat's off to him. And so that's what makes his work good. In this case, you can't expect people in the lay position to know that you cannot produce a reference that you cannot produce. And at the same time, in this world, in this lay position, I mean layman position, if a person's reference is not credible or they can't produce it, there's a way to say it. Okay, so we're going to discount that. Do you have another reference? Because we can't use that. And that's how you're supposed to handle it, and you move on. Tonight, my reference is the scriptures. I'm coming with book, I'm coming with chapter, and I'm coming with verse. And I want to know, what is the new covenant? What is the new covenant? What does it mean today? How does it play out today? When did the new covenant come? When did it come into existence? So that's what we're going to be dealing with tonight. We're going to be dealing with all of that tonight, brothers and sisters. When is that new covenant? When did it come? How did it come? What did it mean? Was it different? See, the scriptures tells us that. Was it different from the first covenant? What changed? What changed from one covenant to the next covenant? So we're going to talk about that. Book, chapter, and verse. If you notice, a few weeks ago when I thought Brother Elder Holloway and I was coming on, I did my lesson and what I was going to present. And I got an email from somebody that said, man, you shouldn't have showed him what you were going to do. Well, I'm used to providing discovery. I have no problem with providing discovery, because I'm in a state where you have to provide discovery before you have a trial or a dialogue. You have to. So I'm used to that. Letting you know what book and chapter and verse I'm coming from, they don't bother me. That don't bother me at all. In fact, that's probably why this thing got prolonged, because he probably needed time to go in and look at that. Now, I held some stuff back. I held a couple things back that is similarly related. That is going to be good, because in preparing, you always come across something. But it's my reference is the Bible. My reference is the book, chapter, and verse. And it's not just New Testament. We're going to be coming from prophets, not just one prophet, because the scripture says, let every fact be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. So we're going to be coming from 2 or 3 places where we got the prophets saying the same thing. So that's going to be tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the dialogue. I'm excited that at least I have some confidence that the platform in and of itself will be a platform where there will be equal opportunity to present our scriptorial facts. I'm going to do some reading tonight. We're going to do some reading. We're going to do some reading. That's it. We're not going to be rushed. We're going to open up that book. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to be able to show the scriptures. I'm not going to be spending a lot of time, but we got to open up that book. I'm a person, I don't like to do a lot of commentating, because the problem is when you do a lot of commentating and a lot of synopsis, you get your own opinion in it. I'm not going to do that. I can't control what Elder Holloway is going to do. But in my presentation, I'm going to go book, chapter, and verse. So, brothers and sisters, that's going to be tonight. We're going to simulcast that. Some of y'all can watch it from my channel. Some of you may want to go directly to Berean TV. It don't matter. This thing is going down. It's going to happen tonight. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that you all tune in. Have other people tune in. Have other people tune in. Have people that's on the fence tune in. Have people that are confused about the issue tune in. People who don't know what the new covenant is, have them tune in. People who've never heard of what the new covenant is. They heard about it. They just say, well, we under the new covenant dispensation. They can't do that. They make them tune in tonight so they can hear what is the new covenant dispensation. So that's going to be tonight. Tune in. All of those people, you want them to be tuned in tonight. So that being said, I only wanted to do 30 minutes and chilling in with you all. Peace, blessings, and we will see you tonight right here, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Shout out to Brother Berean, shout out to Elder Holloway, shout out to all of you all that's going to be coming in tonight. Peace and blessings.